Oisin Murphy is one of the bright young stars of European racing. 74 winners in the UK this year was enough to secure him a first Champion Apprentice title. And he's now ridden out his claim and will join the ranks of the senior jockeys next year as second rider to Qatar Racing. Here in the UAE, he's based at Jebel Ali Stables with Druba Salvaratnam. And we've come here to find out a little more about him.
Oisin Murphy on his first start for Qatar Racing has bagged the Temple Stakes. Highland Calori under the near side rail leads the Air Gold Cup. Has the line Highland Calori. Dungannon who is in front again. And it's Dungannon.
What a find this Oisin Murphy is.
I suppose we should start by saying welcome along to Dubai, because you haven't been here all that long. And how did it all come about? How did Druba manage to sign you up?
I think in early summer I was on the way to the races and he gave me a call, and I hadn't obviously met Druba or spoke to him before, but I followed racing in Dubai for the last few seasons, and he'd obviously been very successful with William and James, and I was delighted to get the opportunity and take it.
Did you speak to William or James? Did they give you any advice?
Yeah, I just asked them what was it like to work out here, and what to expect, and I met Johnny Mert at the Champions Day dinner ball as well, and he said it was a good opportunity to ride nice horses and hopefully gain more experience.
So I know over in England and also in Australia, most of your riding will have been confined to turf. Out here, especially at Jebel Ali, we're pretty much all on the dirt now. How have you found that?
There's been, I've had to change a little bit. I find particularly at Jebel Ali, you kind of need to be in contention with two to run. It's hard to make up lots of ground up that hill, and Maidan, it seems to be, there's an on-pace bias at the moment, and even a Sharjah, a place like that, it's hard to come from real far back, particularly when the kickback is in horses' faces as much as these English horses, they're not really used to it,
And also, I suppose another change, not so much for Druba, but for outside rides, you'll have been on a few purebred Arabians. How have you found that adaptation?
I've struggled to ride them now. I find them hard. They don't really travel, and they don't pick up, and often kind of one of the Arabs that's off the bridle the whole race might come and win.
I suppose your first big win here was on Master of War up at Abu Dhabi. I mean, he looks quite a nice, promising sort.
Yeah, I think he was just ready to start off in that race, to be honest, Laurie. He came from Richard Hands and he'd lost his way a little bit, but his work was okay without kind of being brilliant, and I was glad he started off on the right note, because I'm sure there's plenty of improvement to come.
Are there any others from here that you think might be able to make a splash at the carnival?
You'd imagine Rickade will love Maidan. He's a long way away yet, but I'm sure Druba will have him ready when the right time comes. And Dormello, he's got he's a horse they got from France, and he's got a real high knee action. You'd imagine that'd suit the dirt there. Grand Salute is a horse I think they got from Argentina. He's rated 113. He's done some really good times over a mile, and his work's been good as well. They've got two horses, Mourouige. He was rated probably up to 104 or 5 in England. He'd be that sort of listed class sprinter. He lost his way a little bit, but he definitely trained on, because he's won at 2 and 3. And you'd kind of say the same thing about the horse they got from William Haggis's. They won the Richmond at 2, but he lost his way in between and won again at 3. And he's going very well at the moment. Sayar, I'll be very happy with him. He looks great, and he's just coming along nicely. There's a few horses there that, will hopefully pick up a race, like Suwailam. He went up 2 for Maidan the other night, but I think he just ran into well-handicapped horse, because his work was very good, and you'd imagine that he'll continue to improve. Canwin was just ready to start off, and he ran very well as well, so hopefully a few horses to look forward to.
Let's talk a little bit about your time over in the UK, because for those of us watching from abroad, it seemed like you just appeared sort of overnight. You were a sort of rapid sensation, but I guess for you it wasn't like that, because you worked your way up from being a sort of stable lad. Yeah,
I went over to Andrews the end of October 2012, and at the end of November he said I could get my apprentice licence, so they found out I had to go to the racing school, and Newmarket for 6 weeks. So they basically teach you how to muck out and general riding, which was kind of a waste of time really, but it had to be done, and it stood me in good stead because they were quite strict there, and it's good for discipline and things. Well, Andrew thought it was. And when I got back from the racing school, I went and did my licence course back at Newmarket again, and I had probably I got an agent sorted out before I had a ride, Sarah Metcalf, who I still have now, and I think she got me 7 rides in the first week. And then the following week, Andrew gave me my first ride on Imperial Glance in a apprentice race at Salisbury, and he said he'd win, and he did. He was kind of set up for the race, and I think the next 2 rides for Andrew won, and then I started getting outside rides, and it kind of went along through to September. Then I had 4 rides at Ayr, or 3 rides at Ayr, and 3 of them won, and I picked up a spare and that one as well. I think as a jockey you need to get on the horses, and kind of there's a hot apprentice every year, and when I lost my claim this year I was still hot because Andrew was using me, but like Cam Hardy was doing better, you know, he was riding more well in the bigger handicaps on Saturdays, and I'm sure next season there'll be another good apprentice that'll ride the big handicap winners, but that's just the way it is. And I think I was lucky that people like Andrew and smaller trainers that you wouldn't even have heard of kind of stood by me and used me after riding out my claim kind of August, September to finish off the season well, because it was a big worry, you know.
You're a crown champion apprentice. Is that something you always wanted to tick off?
Yeah, it was the goal. Like when I got back from Australia I was afraid even would I ride 10 winners, because you never know, you know. You need to have a bit of luck to get noticed again, because people forget about you when you're away for long periods of time, and thankfully a few of the horses won, and my old contacts started using me again, and we built up a few new ones. But I think when I get back from Dubai again, obviously I'll have a lot to work on.
You'll have the backing of Qatar. Announced a few months ago that you'll ride as second jockey to Andrea Atzini. When did that come about? I imagine you knew about it a fair bit before the rest of us.
Yeah, I suppose I began riding for them slowly, kind of, even when I was claiming. I had my first ride from when I claimed 5. And I just made an effort to provide feedback to David Redvers, and thankfully they gave me a few chances and this year, and Oisin won, he was the best horse in the race. He was entitled to do so, and after that I suppose you know, we spoke a few times, and it was the deal was done. But look, I was very happy to take the job. I mean, the bonus is hopefully I'll get to ride like Harry did in Group 1 races on horses that have an outside chance, you know, second string. And sometimes you can be lucky enough that those horses run very well or even win, and there's less pressure, you know. You can gain experience without being in the spotlight maybe. And that's an opportunity I wasn't willing to give up. I mean, Andrew was very keen for me to take the job. He's a very big trainer now. This was another record-breaking season for him, and I hope, well, I know I'll still be part of his plans going into next season, but we wouldn't have horses to compete like Sheikh Fahad's buying. They're splashing lots of money at the sales, and you know, they had a very successful end to the year, and I'm sure, you know, we should start off on a good note next year and build it up, because they have spent plenty of money, and they bought some very nice horses.
You seem to have built up a reputation as one of the coolest customers in the saddle. Nothing seems to faze you. You had a derby ride last year, finished 5th. Is that a true assessment? Are you pretty laid back and you don't let things get to you?
I think about races a lot, but obviously when the day comes, look, you can only do your best. If they're good enough, they'll probably win, you know. The best horse in the race usually wins anyway, and circumstances obviously play a part, but hopefully you'll have luck on your side. I suppose when I was kind of 15 and 16, I spent a lot of time with Billy Lee and Joseph O'Brien and things, and Billy really shot into the limelight this year, but I mean, you just kind of watching them guys, they never really got too stressed out, because at the end of the day, you can't really control the result.
In terms of your strengths in the saddle, what do you think are your particular strong points there?
I improved a lot on my stick and pulling it through and changing hands and things like that this year with John Reid and in Oaksey House, and that was obviously beneficial, but you can always improve. I mean, a jockey's never the finished article, and styles are changing all the time. If you watch jockeys riding 7 years ago to now, they look completely different, you know, and I think it's important you keep moving with the times. I would hope I have a level head, and I'm definitely of the opinion on a big day, more experienced jockeys always have the edge on you, because they're more relaxed and they know what to expect, and they make better decisions in split seconds, and I think you can only improve those things from learning, you know, making mistakes, and hopefully when you do make the mistakes you get away with them, that they're not too big, and if the horses are good enough, you don't cost them their chance. But there's been on many occasions this season where I've made a mistake and I've just been lucky enough that the horse is better than the rest of them.
You're very honest. Looking ahead to the future, what sort of ambitions do you have? Would you like to be a champion jockey?
Yeah, I would. Unfortunately, I'm afraid to set it as a goal, because I you know, it's a hard thing to achieve, and I think when you set your aims too high, you generally fall short, and without the backing of a massive stable, it would be quite difficult. Maybe Andrea could do it. I presume he'll keep riding for Roger Varian next year, and maybe some of Luca Camani's up on top of the Qatar horses. He could ride lots of winners, but Hughesy is in a position with lots of Hannon's horses. I mean, they're guaranteed so many 2-year-old winners, and then they've got some really high-class older horses to rely on.
And you've had a Group 2 winner, so I suppose that a Group 1 winner must be on the list somewhere.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. I've ridden in a few Group 1s now, a few Diaby and the Haydock Spring Cup, the Derby, but it'd be nice to win one. Yeah, look, some jockeys wait years and even to ride in them, and I was lucky to get the chance as an apprentice. So just to finish down the field a few times, you get a great kick out of it. You know, it is different. Riding in the bigger races, I think everyone takes it a little bit more seriously. I can remember Ryan Moore told me going out before the Derby, don't get in his way, and he's right. You know, there's probably only a certain number of horses in every Group 1 that really have a live chance, and many more of them in the race are dead wood, and you can see that could be a jockey's worst nightmare, particularly at Epsom. Yeah, it'd be fantastic to win a Group 1. Look, Hot Streak is staying in training, and so was Pearl Secret, and though Hot Streak kind of lost his form the end of last year, he will be a force to be reckoned with, according to Kevin Ryan anyway. And he's a shrewd operator, so I'd imagine he's one to look forward to.
As we said earlier on, you sort of shot to fame overnight at Ayr. Does that side of things interest you, the sort of celebrity side, or would you rather just carry on riding sort of Ryan Moore style?
No, I'd like to. Obviously, it's very important to be polite, because the media is a great tool for you to get your name out there, and I mean, owners and trainers watch television, they watch the racing channel, so I think taking the Ryan Moore approach to media probably isn't advisable, and Andrew, actually, when we were apprentice, used to get us media training from Claire Balding, and Alice, I don't know what her name was. Yes, and that was obviously very helpful, but I think obviously jockeys, I mean, it's very much fashion orientated. A few seasons ago, maybe Seb Sanders was one of the bigger names in English racing, and things change all the time, you know. So it's important when you can get your name in the limelight a little bit to take the opportunity, because it'll only be there for, you know, Paul Hannigan once told me enjoy these winners because it won't last forever.
What's the worst part of the industry for you? Is there anything that really sort of gets your goat?
I suppose there's lots of disappointments. When horses get beat and horses going lame and things like that, you know, ones you've been looking forward to. It's hard to take, but no, look, I'm very new to the sport and I'm enjoying every minute of it at the moment. I don't have any complaints, so you know, I'm very happy with the way things are going.